this evening I discussing 5 things all parents must give to their child or children. So you can comment below 5 things you think that all parents should give their child or children. So I believe that all children, they deserve the right, of 5 things. And these things are attention or love, clothing, shelter, security, and education. So those are the 5 things I believe that all children should get. Attention and love. Even we as adults, we need attention and love. Even animals themselves need attention and love, much less a child or a children who are yearning to be loved, right? So, in order for a child to progress and to develop in the way you want them to be, you have to give them that love and attention, right? If you don't give them that love and attention, they're going to go somewhere to get that love and attention. If you don't give your child love and attention, then they're gonna think that maybe their mother don't care for them, or their father or their family member don't care for them. So whosoever is willing to show them that type of love, they are going to be willing to accept, that love, right? So if a child think that it doesn't love them, then that child is going to be a rebellious child. So in order for you to have a healthy and a good relationship with your child, you're supposed to love that child. Whether the child is a good child or problematic child, or a child who just wants. Sometimes the child is not problematic, it's just that the child just need that type of attention that they are looking for. So they tend to seek it by giving trouble, right? So sometimes the child is a troubled child, but because they don't get the amount of attention and they're supposed to get, they're gonna search for it. So imagine a child doesn't get enough love and the attention that they're supposed to get. They're gonna display it, right? Whether they display it at home or they display it at school, they are going to display it at some point in their life to say that, hey, I need love. And just imagine an adult getting a hug at age maybe 15 or 20 that they don't used to. They're gonna feel bad, right? But if you start to hug and show your child that love from a tender age, they will learn to accept and embrace that they are loved. But if that child, you don't show that child that love at a tender age, then if they go out there and somebody hug them or embrace them, they're gonna think that, oh, this person means something to me, and then they are gonna want to fall for that person, whether it's a male or a female. So you should give your child love and attention, right? When you give them the love and attention, then then that child will be a happy child. And whatever it is that you want the child to gain, you just show them some more love. If you believe that the child is giving trouble, just show that child some love for maybe a week and see the difference or the impact that might have on that child life, right? So each child need love and attention. So the next one is clothing, right? Everybody need to be clothed. It's not like back in the day when you had Adam and Eve and they weren't wearing clothes. Nowadays, persons are wearing clothes. So your children need to be clothed and clothed properly. Have you ever been on the streets where you see some children so in some chirp clothes or you they are in some chirp clothes? Well, depends. Maybe something is wrong with it or maybe something is not wrong with it. But it's all depends look at it, right? Because if you know that for instance that child parents just certain way, right? Then you're gonna say to yourself, oh come for instance a Sue um dress the child like that, not in proper clothing, no shoes or whatever, and she dress up pretty gone down the road, right? So each child they need to be clothed, right? Clothe your child properly. Make sure you buy good shoes and good clothes for your picking them. Just like how you want to buy the latest clothes, the latest wig, the latest shoes. Also, make sure sir, also you dress up your child or your children, or even dress them better than how you dress yourself. So you don't have to maybe buy them the latest clothes, but buy them something which they look good enough, which you can carry them somewhere, right? Imagine, for instance, you have a child, right, and something is keeping down by the road, right, or keep it somewhere in the park or wherever, and you cannot take your child because the clothes that you have at home is not fit, is not fit for that occasion, right? So you're supposed to buy clothes for. I'm not saying that you're supposed to go out of the way and get yourself into trouble just to buy clothes for your child. But for instance, so you know that the child is going to a dinner or to church, you buy the child some formal wear, right? You can maybe buy the child some maybe jeans pants or whatever for fun day or for jeans clothes for jeans day. It depends on the occasion. You buy the appropriate clothes. For instance, you don't want it to do that. You don't want to do this formal day at school, and you dress up the child in jeans pants. That doesn't look good because people's going to be looking and saying, um, what they are saying, whatever it is they are saying, whether the child doesn't have it or maybe the child parent has it, and they don't want to dress the child in a particular way. So you should buy appropriate clothing for your child. So the next one is shelter, right? Every child has the right to be sheltered, right? Not everybody can afford shelter because some persons are living below poverty, right? So not everybody can afford it. But for those who can afford the shelter, give your child a shelter. Give them a proper shelter. You don't want your child. You don't want, for instance, your child not to, for instance, want to go because they say that their friend is maybe laughing after them because they live over there and they live over there. You have some children, even big people too. For instance, they live certain place, right? And when they're taking picture, they don't take picture at their house. They take at somebody else's. Thailand, be quiet over there. They take the picture at somebody else's house and post it. Or if they're doing video, they don't do any video at their house, they do video at somebody else's house and post it. So every child has the right to be sheltered. It doesn't matter where you live. Where you live now is where you see yourself maybe 5 years or 10 years from now. So every child has the right to be shelter. And some of us as parents, the time when we are taking this amount of money to buy some unnecessary things, you could maybe take that $1, that $5 and put it on. You might surprise later on in life to when you check back to find out how much money you have So to see that amount of money that you have, that they can buy you certain things, right? Put your money, put on your $1 and save it so later on you can buy even one bonus or one zinc house. One bonus or one zinc house. Anywhere you live, once you're comfortable, yeah, you don't have to maybe business what people say. Once you know you're comfortable and your child is comfortable where you it don't have to be anywhere too luxurious, but once it is comfortable for you and the child, I would say yes, you're being a good parent. So each child need to have shelter. Shelter is very important because if you are exposed to the outdoor elements, your body can prone to certain disease. Even though if your body is open to certain outdoor elements, after a while then your body will become immune to those outdoor elements. So I'm encouraging you as parents to provide proper shelter for your child. So the next one is security, right? Every child need to feel secure, right? To feel that sense of security, right? It doesn't matter what kind of parent you are, whether you're a nice parent or you're a bad parent, as long as the child know that they can go to their mother and they feel security, they feel that sense of security, they're going to say, yes, this is my mother. Imagine, for instance, a child is at school and they get into an argument with the next child and he say, me I go tell my mother upon you. The reason why the child say me I go tell him mother upon you because he know say if you go tell him mother upon you, you go and feel that sense of security, right? So it's not because the child want to tell their mother and you, but because they think that if they tell their mother and you, then they're gonna feel that sense of security. When the child is at school and something happened to the child or to that child, the first thing or the first person who they tend to run to is the teacher because they feel secure if they run to the teacher. Maybe if they run to their friend, maybe that the next that person will bully that person. So they know that the child cannot bully the teacher because there are consequences if the child bully the teacher. So each child want to feel that of security. And also by communicating with your child or your children, you will get that sense, they will feel that sense of security. If each time, for instance, your child wants to say something to you and you're not available, or you say to the child, oh Lord, I'm doing something, then that child is gonna feel insecure. And even if the child tell you something and you say, my friend, so go on over there to go sit down or whatever the case is, then they're not gonna feel comfortable. Worse, when something goes bad, they're gonna say, me not tell mommy, me not tell daddy, because they don't believe in them and them not trust me. So the child doesn't feel that sense of security. So each child want to know that they feel secure, right? They know that mommy can secure them or daddy can secure them. Whatever it is that they think about their mother or their father, giving them that sense of security. So the next one is education. Each child deserves the right to be educated. Give the child a good education. Even if you as a parent didn't get a proper education, you make sure that you give the child a good education. So at the end of the day, the child won't able to say, mommy didn't give me a good education. That's why I am this person in life, or daddy didn't give me a good education. Try your very best to send the child to school, or even if you can't send the child to school, educate your child. Because if you don't educate your child, somebody out there is willing and waiting to educate your child. So you have to educate your child. Give them a proper education. God, were the days when children weren't educated. educated that much, and it wasn't a problem because everybody is in that category. But now everybody is educated, right? Or most persons are educated, and you don't have to go to school to be educated. You can stay right here at home and get a education, whether you want to go online or you want to read the books on by yourself or whatever the case is. You can educate yourself, right? So everybody, knowledge is power and knowledge is the key. Once you have knowledge about certain things, then person cannot tell you that this is how it goes or this is go, because at the end of the day you know what you know, and nobody cannot tell you that this is this or this is that, because you know you have the right answer and you read and you're educated and you know that this is it. Whereas for instance, when you go to sign something or to sign your name, you have to be asking somebody where you must sign your name or how you must sign your name, or if you can read that for me. That can be very embarrassing. And sometimes not everybody can be trusted, because that depends on the person. They can maybe tell a foolish, or they can maybe take out the information off the paper and use it to their own bits. So when you can read, when you are educated, that is one of the best thing that could ever happen to a person. If you read one book for the year, then that will widen your knowledge. Whichever book you choose to read, that would widen your knowledge to become a better man and a better woman. According to Martin Luther King and what's the next one name again? I don't remember the next one. The next person name. You should always read and educate yourself, because when you have it in your head, then no one can take it away from you. Even if they take your life, they cannot take away the knowledge that you have. So everybody has the right to be educated, right? Even if you don't have the money to send the child to school every day, send the child wherever you have the money. Even if you don't have the money to send the child to school, you can go to the school and explain to the teacher or the principal about your situation, and ask them if there's anything you could maybe do at the school, anything you can do at the school, so that your child could get a good education, because you're not working. But some of us as parents, we are not working, and we have the child at home, sitting home not doing anything, when they could go to the school, volunteer our time just for the sake of our children. Because if you don't give your child a good education, later on in life it will turn around and haunt you, knowing that you in yourself didn't give your child a good education. So I'm encouraging you to give your child a good education. So why why should you be there for the child, right? When you are there for the child feel a sense of acceptance and belonging, right? Some children, they have their parents, and their parents have never been to a PTA, Parents Teachers Association, when their friends, mother or father is turning up for a PTA. They don't turn up for their child or their children. They have never been to a sports day. They don't even know what the child teachers look like. They don't know which grade the child is in. They just send the child to school. They don't know nothing. They never collect a report. They don't know what the child is doing at school. They don't even know if the child is going to school, because if you have a child and you send the child to school, the child if the child is an indisciplined child, then maybe the child won't go to school. No, they will find somewhere to hang out. And when they know that school over, our mom is about to come home, then they will come home as if they went to school and they didn't. They weren't at school. They were at somewhere else. So parents, you should you should let your child feel a sense of acceptance and belonging, knowing that you are there for them, right? And also, when you teach your child about his or her maybe skin color or certain things, then the child will learn to accept themselves, knowing that they are proud of their skin color, and this is why my skin color is like this, and I accept it. But when you don't teach the child to embrace him or herself, then the child will go feeling neglected, as if no one care, or when the other children at school telling them maybe you're black and you're not beautiful, then they won't have anything to tell them. But if you tell a child that you are black and beautiful, and that's all you are, that's you are made that way, then the child will learn to accept him or herself, knowing that this is how they are designed to be made. So when the child feel that sense of acceptance, then they will come to the realization, knowing that they are up, accepted by society. Also, why you should be there for your child. Children need to feel a sense of security, right? Alright, back in the days, people never used to maybe grill up their house because they feel that sense of security. Now, because of the amount of crime and violence taking place, then parents has to grill their house for those who cannot afford it, and depends where they live, right? So just like when you have your house and you grill your house and you feel that sense of security, just like that, when the parents are there for their children, then they will feel the sense of security. They will feel that sense of security. But if the child doesn't feel that sense of security, most of the time, then the child will feel withdrawn, as if no one cares, mommy don't care, daddy don't care, so they tend to be withdrawn. Also, they need to feel a sense of belonging. They need to feel like, yes, they belong here. They don't want to feel as if they are out of place. When you are there for your child, they will feel as if they belong to this place. If the child think that if they can come to their mother and their father and discuss certain issues or things that they are going through, they're going to feel like a sense of belonging, right? That is one of the reasons why some children they join club, because they just think that if they stay away, if they join the club, then they will have some more freedom to stay away from home, and they themselves will spend less time with their family. So they tend to join curriculum or extra activity for them to feel that sense of belonging. So when, for instance, when you go to church or when you go to certain school, you feel you have that sense of belonging, because based on how they treat you, based on how they welcome you. Okay, if you go to church today and they didn't you didn't feel that sense of welcome, excuse me, for the first time, then you as an individual, you don't want to go back to that church, because you didn't feel that sense of belonging. You didn't feel welcome at that church. You didn't think that they put out your all in all and tell you, oh, you're welcome here and you can come back anytime you wish to come back. So persons need to feel that sense of belonging. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, if parents are not there, then who will be there, right? If you are not there for your child, then persons will be there for them, whether you believe it or not, right? So if you don't take the time out to be there for your child, then other persons will be there. Oh, Lord, give me strength. So if you are not there for your child, then the phone will be there for them, the social media will be for them, then their friends will be there for them. They might turn to drugs, gun, sex, crime. They might turn to depression, and they might have suicidal thoughts, right? So most of the time, when you have a child at home, right, and the child is giving trouble, especially if it's a younger child, right? Most of these children nowadays they either have a phone or they have a tablet, right? So as soon as the child start to give trouble, the first thing you say, come tablet or come for your the phone, right? Just to keep the child quiet, right? Or maybe you might turn on the TV and allow the child to watch it. That doesn't bring that kind of communication or that bond between you and that child, because each time for you to get that child to be quiet, you have to make sure that the phone is available, the TV is available, or the laptop is available. What if current's gone, right? What if there's no electricity? What if the phone wasn't charged, right? Or you don't have any service on the phone? How will that be? That would be a chaos in the house though, because you don't have anything to give to the child um to keep them calm, and you as a parent weren't bonding that, you weren't building that kind of relationship with the child, so that like for instance, so now the child is acting up, for instance, what to do to the child because the child is acting up. No, you didn't build that kind of relationship with the child. So now the phone isn't available, the tablet isn't available, and the TV is not available. So it's just you and the child there, and you are confused. You know what to do because you don't have that parents to child relationship. Okay, so if you are not there for the child, and social media will be there for the child, and trust me, everything social media, everything you can think of, the good, the bad, and everything. So for instance, say if you have a child and you are not there for the child, then that child is going to go on social media, right? If they have a phone, right? And anything that the child think is interesting to them, then they are going to watch it. If they see a pop-up icon and they think that this pop-up icon is a cartoon or whatever, and besides they are putting everything in cartoon now, so click on it and they're going to watch it. Maybe they themselves don't know what they're watching, but they're going to watch it. And maybe later on, when they watch the video now, or whatever it is that they watch now, right? And later on, when they see things with their eyes, they're gonna say, "Oh, this is what I was watching on the phone or wherever." So whatever it is that, if they see something that they think that is interesting to them, then they're gonna maybe want to watch it again, right? If it's a child that maybe is gaining experience, they're gonna want to find out what is it, right? So if for instance they hear their friends talking about certain things on social media, and they can't come to the parents to find out what this is, right? Because you're not there for them, you don't have the time for them, then they are going to turn to the social media, and they are going to Google whatever it is that their friend asked told them about to find out what exactly it is, and whatever it is that comes up on that social media, then that is whatever it is that they're going to watch, because based on their understanding they're going to say this is what their friend were talking about, and they want to find out what it is. And because their parents weren't there for them, then they think maybe this is the best place to watch it. So social media will become a big part of their life. And if there are students that go to school, then if they are not allowed, which they are not allowed to take phone to school, then as soon as school over, then the first thing they will be targeted is the phone or the tablet, because they want to find out what is up, what is new now, because that is what social media is all about. They want to find out what is trending, what is not trending. And if you are not there for them, then they're going to find out, okay, this is trending or that is trending. And they're going to follow everything that the social media do, because the social media has now become their mother and their, and whatever the social media do according to their mother and their father, then that is what they're going to do. So social media will become a big impact on that child's life, and before you know it, that social media is taking a toll on their life, then it's gonna be too late. By then you figure out that, oh, why are you baby like that? Why are you acting like you like why are you acting like that? Only to find out that social media has taken a toll in their life, and you cannot correct it because you weren't there from the beginning to correct it. They're gonna tell you that you weren't there for me when I needed you the most. So why would you want it to be there now? And you as a parent maybe won't know what to say to the child, because you know that what the child is saying, and then maybe you can become abusive because you say to yourself, why is the child talking to me like that, or why is the child behaving like that, when you as a parent were the one who led the child to be that type of person that they are now. So the next one will, they will find friend, right? So as soon everybody needs somebody that they can talk to. Everybody need a friend. Well, so you as a child, if you think that, for instance, okay, because Sue is always there for me, then Sue is my friend. Then you're going to think in yourself, maybe Sue is your friend because Sue is the only one who is there for you, right? So you're going to find Sue as a friend. So whatever it is that you have to discuss or talk about, you're going to tell Sue. Whether Sue is going to tell back your mother or tell his friend, but most of the time, Sue will not keep it as a secret, right? So sometimes in life you have persons that are good and certain persons, well, not really good, but certain persons might give good advice or they might give poor or bad advice. So if you're young and tell a friend about certain situation, and they themselves maybe don't have a good parenting or a good parent, you know, they're gonna give you advice based on what they think, and maybe that idea that they give to you might maybe not be one of the best idea, but they still give it to you because maybe they think that maybe that's the best idea they can give. And sometimes those ideas can put us into a situation that we weren't prepared to deal with, right? So so these friends can encourage them to do things that you maybe don't know that that child is doing, but because you weren't there for the child, so you don't have any idea what the child is going through. So when they find these friends that encourage them to do bad things, and then they finally do those bad things, you can't really blame the child for that, because at the end of the day you weren't there for the child, right? So you have some friends who might encourage a next child to do good thing or teach them good things based on what they have learned at their house, right? So they're going to pass on that knowledge to your child, you knowing that they are passing on this knowledge to your child because you didn't spend that kind of quality time to teach your child about certain, or you didn't give them that listening ears. You didn't give them that listening ears when they needed it most. So they're gonna go there and get the advice that they needed. And before you know it, then you won't be able to give them the kind of advice you will give to them because they're already getting advice from somebody else. So the topic we are talking about is five things that all parents should give to their children. So the next one is, if the parents are not there for the child or the children, they might turn to drugs. Different types of drugs out there. There are different types of drugs out there. Some drugs can be good and some drugs can be bad. But these drugs that we are talking about are drugs which are not good for these children, right? So because they have friends that maybe go to party, so they're going to encourage them to go to party also because you're not there for them. So they just go to party whenever their friends invite them to party without you knowing that they're at parties. So they will take these drugs that will make them feel whatever way they want to feel, and without you knowing that these children are taking drugs, and before you know it, your child will be involved in drugs, and then maybe that child will begin to steal from you to buy these drugs because they don't have the money, or maybe their friend want the drugs, so they will take your money because that child is their friend now, so they are looking out for their friends, so they will take the money to buy drugs for them and their friends. And when they don't have the money to buy drugs, then they will turn to something else to buy the drug, whatever it's that they might turn to the um the money to buy drugs, maybe whatever it is that they might turn to just to buy that drugs, right? So even they will even leave school and start to do on the side job, whatever job is that they can get to do because their friends will tell them that, oh, you can go over there so and work with so and so, and he will give you money, when the parents may be thinking that their child or children is going to school because they don't take the time to find out if their child or children is going to school, when in truth and in fact that their child are taking. And sometimes some parents, they don't take the time out to search their children things to find out what kind of drugs their child is taking because they don't spend time investigate on in certain things because they're busy, and are busy doing their own business, busy going to work, are busy going to work, so they don't have the time. Maybe by the time they come home tired, maybe they don't have the money to pay somebody. They don't have the money to pay somebody to give a high on the child, which is not right. But based on the society that we live in, One time God used to ask a neighbor to give an eye on your child or your children, but nowadays if you ask somebody to give an eye on your child or your children, they gonna ask you um if you have money to pay them, when sometimes maybe you don't have enough money to pay them, but because you don't want to bother your neighbor, you don't worry to go over there to ask them to give an eye on your children. Depends on the age of the child. Maybe if the child is maybe over 10 or so, maybe you might leave them alone. But if it's just a little toddler, so chances are you will have to leave somebody with them, with the child, you know, because they are not old enough to take care of themselves, and because some of the time these parents, they don't have the money to take care of to them. Sometimes they bargain for other things just to, just just for their child to be taken care of. The next thing is God, right? When the parents are not there for their children, then they will turn to guns, right? Most of the time, they might have a friend. Well, it's not really their friend, but maybe somebody come to school and they say, say, we have that thing there, whatever. And just because that child is giving the listening ears to your child, then that child will encourage your child to use gun, right? And most of the time, I don't think poor people can afford gun. So I think it's persons who have money. They are the one who buy these guns and give it to persons who they think cannot afford it, because you as a youngsters, you know your mother can't afford it, even though some parents might know that their children or their child is doing guns and drugs, but because they might get a little money, right? So because you are poor, right, and your mother don't have it, and the rich man says to you, say, take that gun there and do so and so, and me give so much money. To them, it's a little tip of money now, but to you, it's a lot of money because your parents don't have it. So you just think, say, maybe if you take that money then, and take the money, it can do a lot for you, right? And so the more you might take the money is the more you find out, say, you want more money. So you find yourself going back each time because you find the money very interesting. So you become addicted to the gun now because the gun and the things to you, the gun are bringing money and so where your mother can give to you. And even though your mother is not taking that time out to find out, you know, certain that buzz, because in their mind they said, oh, you are doing this and you are doing that, and because you're not acting certain way, then they think that you're an innocent child, but in fact and in truth you are doing guns. And even though these children cannot afford the gun, maybe after a period of time, when I would say maybe a boss will think that you're a committed youngster or whatever. So you might say, oh, take that little one there for yourself. So take it for yourself now. So over a period of time now, you create your little gang, right? Which can cause a problem with your boss, because now you not going to him feel others because you have your little clique around there. So it might create a rivalry or create a problem between you and your previous laws, because if say, alright, so because we give you that though, you don't want to obey me or whatever, so then you might lose your life because of the gun. Even though the gun can't talk, it can take people's life, because even though the gun can't talk, people use it to take people's life, right? So because your parents is not there for you, then you turn to gun, right? And gun can't take your life, right? If you don't, if after a period of time you don't change and put it down, right? So some parents don't know that their child or their children are doing guns and drugs, right? So when you spend time with your child or your children, you will know certain things about them because you will be there for them every step of the way. So you will know that what they are doing or what they are not doing. So you won't miss a moment in their life because you're always there for them, right? So the next one is sex, right? And if you have a parent is not there for your for your child, right? And they might find a friend. Not every child is like that, because you have some child, they know that their parents don't have it, but they choose not to do certain things because they know maybe what is the consequence. But you have some children who don't maybe don't what we would say we don't have a mind of their own. So because they don't have that proper parental guidance, they easily be misled, right? So they will turn to sex, right? So first they would their friends will tell them about the things that they get from having sex, right? It's not maybe the sex is a problem, it's the things that they get, right? They want. So even though that sex is wrong, but because they see their friend with certain things and they say if you have sex then this is what you might get in return. So you as the person though is going to have sex because you want to get money, you want to get these pretty things because these are the things um that is going on now because you see your friends and you want to Kalan, because you see your friend with certain things that you want to just think say having sex is your way to go even though you weren't it wasn't a part of your plan, but you realize that having sex now is the way to go. The next one is crime. So when you use gun, drugs, and sex, it can lead to crime, right? Crime not just come as a murder. Most of the time when crime starts is because you and a man have disagreement over certain things. When you and somebody have disagreement over certain things, so the first thing you're gonna do is gonna turn it into badness, right? So once, as the Jamaicans say, you diss me. So when a man thinks you diss him, or you might cut him over certain things, right? You're gonna want to certain action, which most of the time turn out to crime, right? So when you come from a from a family that is poor, right? And your friend tell us, say, look here, so and so are going down there, so you know, or so and so are run down there, so you know. You're gonna want to do it without even thinking of the consequences that might turn out to be. But because you want certain things, you're going to give it a try. Right? So crime, even nowadays, crime has become a big thing, right? So you see a man with something, right? And you don't have that something. Maybe for instance a phone. So you see a man with phone and you want a phone like that. And you can't afford the phone. Bless you. So you see a man with a phone, but you can't afford that phone. And you think, oh God bless you. So you see a man with a phone, right? And you can't afford the phone. And you think the best thing to do is to take that man life just to get that phone, right? Sometimes you don't even know how hard that person work to get that phone or how long that person saved to get that phone. But because you see the person with the phone and you just think so. You see the person with the phone, you don't know where the person get the phone from, but because you just think that you are the one supposed to have the phone, you're gonna take that person's life because you want the phone, which can lead to crime. So once crime start over here, then persons over there is gonna come, is gonna cause, is gonna cause problem. So the crime won't stop because that man think that you come over here to cause trouble them. Is you come over there come trouble them because it's you come trouble for man them. So crime are gonna start out now because first see people with things and they don't know where they get it from, but they just think that they should have it, so they're gonna create crime. So when you have when persons doing drugs, right, and they don't have the money to buy the drugs, right, they're gonna rob. They're gonna rob anything that they can do to get the rob. Anything that they can do to get the drugs. Whether they're gonna rob, kill, steal, they're gonna do it because they get addicted to the drugs. So they want the drugs now. So they're gonna do crime, right? So the gun by itself cannot move. But as soon as you take up that gun and start, as soon as you take up that gun, then you're gonna want to use it because you're not just take up a gun, because it's there. You're gonna take up the gun because you're gonna use it. Because if you point a gun at somebody there and you don't pull the trigger, them are gonna say you're weak, right? And them are gonna take disadvantage of you, right? So anytime you take up a gun, they're gonna think that you are going to use it. So you better you use it first than to let the person think that you are a coward. So when you're having sex, right? Sex, sometimes a person might have sex, right? And because a person might have sex, and at the end of the ordeal or the day, whatever, you're supposed to you're supposed to give the person like X amount of money. So because you didn't give the person X amount of money, X amount of money, they're gonna turn to crime. Oh my God. They're gonna turn to crime because you just think that crime is the best way to go. So because the parents are not there for the children, they're going to turn to the streets, right? And the streets, as I say, if you're going down the street, you have to be street smart. So most of the persons are on the streets. Most of them, or even some of them, they are not very intelligent, but are, should I say, bright. It's not bright. They don't have the type of education that person who go to college. Most of them are some of them, but because they are street smart, because they are on the streets, they know what's taking place. They know that you must go by the mandatory territory. You must go by the mandatory territory. They know, so for instance, if you want the gun, this is where the gun there. They know that, for instance, you want the gun over there. So if you want the drugs, such man have the drugs. So you have the street, and the street is there for persons who they don't, most of the time, don't have anybody to show them the way. So who don't have a proper parenting, so the street is there to show them, say, hey, this is what you can do to get through to life, or that is what you can do to get to life. So most persons, or some persons, or even young persons, it depends on the street to show them certain things because they know the streets are there for them. So when they turn to so and so, so and so, then they then 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 they become that street person, right? So because your parents, they are not there for you, then they don't know that you're a street person. So as soon as your parents is not there for you, then Callan, stop it, guys. because your parents are not there for you, then you're going to turn to the street. You're going to turn to the street for certain things. So after a while, you become a street person. So when you take the drugs, so when you take the drugs, so when you take the drugs and the gun and all these things, and you don't have money to buy these things, and your parents are not there, nobody to talk to, then it can lead to depression. Depression is not a good thing, right? When you are depressed, when you can't get the drugs and you can't get the gun and you can't get sex, you're going to turn to depression, right? And depression, if you don't get help, it can lead to suicidal thoughts. So most of these persons who are out there who don't have anybody, who don't have proper parenting, who turn to all these things, they can get depression. And depression, not everybody overcome depression, right? And depression, when you are depressed, right, and you don't have that kind of friend to comfort you, or that a good friend to comfort you, then you can sink you deeper into depression. And if you are not careful, then you might want to take your life after a period of time because you are being depressed, right? So some persons, when they are depressed, right, they would turn to certain drugs because they think that if they turn to certain drugs, then these drugs will help me. But when you turn to this type of drugs, right, and after a period of time you turn to this type of drugs, like you take the drugs now, right? What happened, like maybe a hour, 2 hours later, when maybe you fall asleep and you realize that the drugs has worn out from you? What do you do? What do you do? So you keep on taking these drugs. You keep on taking these drugs because you are depressed, right? So most of the time, when your parents are not there for you, you're gonna tend to get into depression. You're gonna get suicidal thoughts. Sometimes you get suicidal thoughts because your parents is not there for you. So you're gonna think, oh, because my parents are not there for me, or because my parents don't love me, then I want to take my life. I'm gonna buy this to take, or I'm gonna take this to drink, or I'm gonna take my certain amount of pill because I want to take my life. I want to take my life because there's nobody there for me. No one shows that I'm care. No, they care for me. Tired of living, so I'm gonna take these to end my life. So parents, you should be there for your child. Make sure as a parent you are there for your child. Maybe you won't be there all the time, and if you won't be able to be there for your child, find somebody who you can trust, somebody who you know you can trust with your child or your children, and help them or ask them to be there for your child, and make sure you check up on your child to find out what is going on in his or her life. Because if you don't check up on your child life, then they're gonna think that mommy don't care, or mommy don't care, or daddy don't care, and then they're gonna take up things into their own hand, and before you know it, it's gonna be too late. So I'm encouraging you as parents to be there for your child or your children so that their life can become easier for themselves and for their family. So again, so 5 things that all parents must give to their child or their children is attention, love, attention or love. Each child needs to be clothed. You need clothing. Each child needs shelter. And you want to feel that you are secure and a proper education. If you have a child and you don't give the child a proper education, even though sometimes you go to school and you have a good education and you leave school and you can't get a good job, but it's good to know that you have a proper education, because if you have an education, baby, you can know how to help yourself. You can know how to check certain things, or maybe you can start your own school or start your own whatever, so that you can help because you're educated, so you can pass on that knowledge to somebody who really needs it. So when you're educated, you when you will learn to love yourself, and you love others, and you know how to treat others. And also when you're educated, you will be able to afford the type of clothes that you want, because maybe you might get a nice job. You might be able to get a nice job. You will be able to provide for yourself and provide for your family. Whereas if your parents didn't have the type of home that you wanted them to have. So over that period of time, you'll be able to work and provide for your parents the type of house that you want in the long run. So make sure that you be there for your child and provide the basic necessities for your child. Remember, love yourself and love others. Love is the key. Love is the answer. Despite of what is going on in your surrounding, learn to love yourself. Learn to appreciate yourself. Learn to accept yourself and be strong no matter what the circumstances you're going through. Remember to put God first. No matter what you're going to put God first and ask Him to show you the way. Help Him to show you, give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. When you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, everything else will come after that, right? So I hope that as you go through this week, you will have a blessed and prosperous week. And I pray that whatever you put your and hands on, that it will be blessed and blessing will come your way. Continue to love yourself and be strong. Have yourself a great